Welcome to the Ambitious Coach Podcast, powered by 90. I'm your host, Cam Lawson. Each week, we explore the real tactics, tough conversations, and breakthrough moments that drive coaching success. We are so excited to have Jill Young with us today. Expert EOS Implementer, creator of Coaching Magic, just an incredible human being. We were talking about that. She thinks she might be part alien. Who
It's
knows?
possible. It's
Up
possible.
for debate.
The possibility. I'm saying it is.
But no, we are just so excited to have you on and have a conversation. We're going to talk all about coaching. We're going to dive into coaching magic, what you've done. We're going to talk really how to frame and build an offering and all the
Mm.
iterations that go into that. But we were already riffing right from the start. We just decided to hit record early. We'll
There
let
we
all
go.
the editors figure it out.
Thank you, editors.
Yes, the best. But yeah, well, to kind of kick off for those that maybe don't know you, can you just share a little bit of kind of how you got to where you're at to today?
It would be my pleasure. Thank you. And I have to. I do this. I take side detours. I also just want to appreciate you, acknowledge you for asking that question. There are there are very few built-in spaces in our human lives where we get to reflect
Mm,
on what got us to here today. So every time somebody asks me that, I like to just take it into the present moment,
mm.
and it might be a different story that I tell every time because it's who I am today got me here,
Yeah.
and that was even as little as yesterday or as the conversation I had just before we got on here. So, if I think to myself, especially for what we're doing today, what what got me here? I like to start with a lot of freedom. As a child, I had a lot of freedom. I was raised by, I call it the entrepreneurial wolves. It's entrepreneurial parents, of course. Grew up in small business. So with that, there are, coaches, you're listening to this podcast, entrepreneurs, you're listening to this podcast,
Mm.
there are so many polls for your attention, and my parents were no different. So I spent a lot of time alone, but it was never lonely.
Mm.
I'm blessed with this big creative brain, um, a, a, a a kind heart, and I just had lots of freedom to explore that and play. Play, play, play. The One of our largest businesses was a childcare center. So
Huh.
even when I went to work, which I did when I was 8 years old, I had my first job.
There you
So I'm
go.
very proud of that 60 cents
Yes.
an hour. Woo! You're right.
That's a lot of money then
Seriously,
when you're a little kid.
one of the proudest paychecks I've ever received. It was $60 over a 2-week time period, and I made 60 cents an hour. Do the math. I worked 50 hours a week when I was 8 years old. I don't know what overtime is.
Right.
I didn't know what that is. Anywho, it's a lot of freedom, a lot of growing up in creativity, and my work, even from an early age, my work was my play. Play, work, play, work. So it has always been together. Now, if we think about my most recent decade, I've been a coach. I'm an expert EOS implementer for the last decade plus. And what got me here is just always going back to who I always was.
Mm.
When I was 3 years old, work and play. 8 years old, work and play. Sixth grade girls newsletter, work and play. Inviting friends to sleepovers where we would do lip syncs of Whitney Houston, work and play.
Mm.
But I look at what I did even as a child, a teenager, a young adult, and in my most, let's call it impactful moments, serving the world have always been work and play. So coaching magic is coming back to work and play. I call it coaching magic because why not? Because it's fun. We wave our magic wands. We sometimes wear tiaras if we feel like it. We have toys. I put my tools on my art that I have created. And yeah, I would say work and play has got me to this moment.
I love that so much because I think, especially in the entrepreneurial mindset, if you will, it's all about growth. It's all about we got to
Yeah.
do this next thing. We got to figure this strategy out, all this kind of stuff. And it's just grind, 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 grind. And then you see so much burnout
Mm.
in this type of culture, and I think it can go back to this lack of losing that almost that childlike curiosity and playfulness and
Mhm.
excitement in life. So I think and I wouldn't say I know you very well, but, like, from both external persona that you put on and then the brief times we have interacted, like, at EOS conference or whatnot, there's this bubbly, personality that comes out that you can just tell there's that's deep in your soul when you say that. You're not just saying that, you actually live that out, and I can see that, and I would say and argue that others see that in you as well.
Cam, I kind of wish I could 2 things. I wish I could pay you for saying exactly what we're gonna talk about today. Like, you just oh, this is so freaking amazing, I love it. You witnessed and thank you for this. You witnessed and shared with me your witnessing of what I am at my core. So a couple of things that this does, coaches like listen, watch what's happening right here. It's so amazing. What I am at my core, that's what I'm displaying on both my professional persona, Cam said, and when he met me in person, and when I turned on the camera. And Cam, if you would have been in my session room here and I didn't have the camera on, I'm out there, I'm coloring, I'm doing work with markers because this is who I am. And that's how we know coaches when we are in our authenticity. When we're in our authenticity, we're in the flow. We can create we can create all the offerings we want and people are attracted to the offerings. If you are on the other side, if you're thinking to yourself, well, that's easy for Jill because that's who Jill is. She can do that because she has money or because she's been doing this for 11 years or because anything else that you're putting onto me and my success, I'm going to say yes. That is why I'm creating. But I did that with those things are part of my authenticity. And you have parts of you that are your authenticity too. And when we create offerings from our own authenticity, the offerings seem to flow down what I call this river of flexibility. They flow. And I've had many times where I've created an offering, where I've created an offering from a space of lack versus abundance. I'm happy to talk about that. And it did not flow. So when I created Coaching Magic, especially like this is the current offering I'm excited about. I have more in the works, and I've had offerings I've left behind that have worked, but I'm like I'm bored with that now, and so I'm moving on to this. Um, it is at the core of everything that we're offering. Is the offering is you, Coach. So Cam, this podcast offering there there are many podcasts I get invited to do. Some I'm like, I'm just not excited and aligned.
Mm,
But you, Cam, when you invited me to this, I was excited. You know why? Because you were excited. So coaches like really look at that. Your offering is you. Are you excited about it? Is it in line with your authenticity?
mm,
And I just to wrap this all back around to what I noticed Cam noticing in me, because coaches are just masterful noticers, coaches, is he used a word that every time somebody uses this word, it there's a little bit of a shock of me back to my OG self, my authenticity self, and he used the word bubbly. He said bubble. And I got to tell this story because this is where coaches you're going to find your authenticity. When I was a teenager, I would go to these church camps. And we would get in a circle and we would essentially witness each other and share with each other, what do I see in you? I see in you. And I'd write exactly what I saw in everybody. And there were different words. And then people would share what they saw in me. And you guys, I'm telling you, like 8 out of the 10 girls sitting around this thing would say, Jill is bubbly. Jill is bubbly, bubbly, bubbly. She has bubbles, bubbles, bubble. And I was pissed off
Sorry to start the trauma. No.
Exactly. I was like, "Isn't there" this is hilarious. I'm like, "Isn't there anything else
Hmm,
you see in me?" Because I wasn't seeing myself for this beautiful,
hmm,
energetic power that this bubbly is. So over the years, clearly, when I look back and reflect, like that bubbly, that is my magic. That my spirit, my effervescence. You can use a lot of different words for bubbly now. Some of my friends call it vitamin J. I like to call it my magic because
hmm,
that's fun. And that has become one of my catchphrases now because that's fun. And I didn't even intend on doing it, but it arises out of your authenticity. So
hmm,
look back. What is your authenticity? There are people on this planet who are attracted to your type of authenticity. And I happen to believe that we need, someone asked me the other day, Jill, gosh, anyone can be a coach these days. Slap a label on yourself and call yourself a coach. And what are we going to do about that? I'm like, celebrate it. If you're called to coaching, you're called to coaching because there's so many different types of coaching. It's so creative. Make up your own kind of coaching.
hmm.
There's people on the planet that need it. But coming from your authenticity is absolutely core to creating an offering.
Yes, it reminds me of a quote that I heard. It was actually from a guest on one of these episodes. But he said, I can't remember. I
Just
won't know.
let it
I don't know
flow.
who to attribute it to.
You know what? Let it flow from your heart. We're all
But
inspired from somewhere. We're
yes,
all inspired from somewhere.
but the quote basically goes along the lines of, "Hey, if you're smart, you can open a couple doors. If you're brilliant, you can probably open a couple more. But
Mhm.
if you're vibrant, doors will open for you." And I love that. That's so powerful
Love it.
because it goes into showing exactly you are tapping into your authentic self, which then is leading to the vibrancy. And then people are naturally attracted to that because it's magnetic. If you can find that, and it's funny because and I'm just going to make sure that the record is clear. We didn't talk about this before. The bubbly just came out because
That's right.
that's something that I came in and then she shared that in this moment. So it's not like we talked about that we were
No,
going to talk about this.
no, this is live. This is live.
Yeah.
This is absolute live unfolding. We are witnessing coaching magic. We are witnessing it. You see
Yes.
in me what I claim for myself also. This is also really important when you're creating an offering and you're really trying to understand what is the offering going all the way back to you. Who are you? But then claim it.
Hmm.
So there's a tool I use often in coaching called name it to tame it. So this is where your things are swirling around and you're like, I'm not sure. I don't know what the root is. I don't know what are possible solutions. They swirl and they ruminate and they live in the back of your head. And if you can say it or write it down, or, put it in the issues list in 90, put it in there, uh, you name it to tame it.
Hmm.
It calms down the energy. It's not pulling so much energy because it's like, oh, I hear, like, you see me. Something, an idea, an obstacle, something, you name it, you just put it
Hmm.
down there. The idea feels, oh, you see me, and it calms down. Name it to claim it
Hmm.
is similar, but instead of taming it, it has this energy of claiming it.
Hmm.
So now, in context, I just claim that I'm bubbly. I just claim it
Hmm.
instead of before I was shaming it. Like,
Yeah.
oh, gross. I want to be a professional. I wanted to be governor. I wanted to be an astronaut. I also wanted to be Cinderella at Disneyland, the
Why not?
live Cinderella at Disneyland, not in a movie, not in here. I don't, but I'm claiming it.
Hmm.
I'm claiming my bubbly. So
Yeah.
now there's a power in it that is like, yeah, this is who I am. And now it just comes across effortlessly.
Oh, that's so good. So when did you kinda notice that maybe you have something to maybe instead of just focusing in on kinda coach-client relationship, but more, "Hey, I actually have something that I think is really valuable for other coaches and those that are working with clients." Can you kinda talk to how you came to that conclusion?
Again, so lovely. Until the question is asked, sometimes the answer doesn't even exist.
Hmm,
The questions are so powerful. So I really appreciate this question. It's here's like the deep root of it is when I was head coach at EOS Worldwide. We've got 850 coaches now. We call them implementers. And when I was head coach at EOS Worldwide, I would get the heaviest of situations.
Hmm.
I had lots of beautiful coaches who worked on my team, on our team, and they would handle most everything. And with because we serve each other, it's a really beautiful motto. We serve each other at EOS. It's a, I love the motto, which is essentially an offering
Yeah.
of how we coach each other. So one thing that I noticed, Cam, is that when I was really present with people who were having really heavy situations, when I was really present at my core, we got to the root. We got to the root faster. We got to the root in a more natural way. We got to the root in a way that was just wrapped around with love and um, openness and abundance. And um, here's what was at the root of all the issues, the heaviness, especially the heavy ones, was the coach themselves.
Hmm.
Who am I as a human? What do I have to offer the world? What do I have to offer myself? Where am I going? What the am I doing here?
Yeah.
Um, ev- it was here. And what came to start to realize that as, if we're looking for the root, if the root is the human themselves as the coach, then if I could help more coaches unfold into their we call it magic, unfold into their human magic and claim that they are also magic
Hmm.
in their own unique way, everything else seemed to just flow naturally from there. Which is why coaching magic I was just talking to a friend. Coaching magic weaves its way through any coaching style. I'm working with a group of financial planners on coaching magic. It's weaving their way through how they're working with clients, how they're working with their teams. I'm working with a group of entrepreneurs, a small group of entrepreneurs who are weaving coaching magic through that. And it's not even built, it wasn't even built for
Right.
that, it was built for coaches. But when we can get the human, let's say the coach, to understand that they are also human and unfold, everything else effortlessly flows. So that would be the root of where I started to notice this pattern of the coaching that I was doing, or they were coaching themselves,
Hmm.
which is a beautiful paradox. That humans coach themselves. They don't the coach really doesn't coach the humans. Um But what I was providing the space for and the love and the nurturing and the question asking
Hmm.
was really them getting into their own heart and soul.
Hmm.
So that's what coaching magic really does. It really helps the coach unfold into their own humanness, and at the same time they're doing that, they're learning tools that help their clients unfold into their own humanness. And it's actually pretty quick.
Hmm.
It's actually pretty effortless. Once that unfolds, whoosh, here we go, profitability. Here we
Yeah.
go, we're hitting our rocks. Here we go, we're getting results.
I would say there is a tremendous power in the right question, right? And I
Mm,
think I would say that's probably a big difference between, let's just for sake of example, let's just say consultant versus coach, right? Consultant paid for opinion, right? Experience deep in an industry where we're going to pay individual to come in and provide their opinion, which then we're going to take as fact, right? Then
awesome.
you also have coach on the other side of that, which really I think coaches are just really, really, really good at asking questions to
Mm,
get to the root of what's truly going on and guiding the person. And there's so much value. And I think the elite and expert and whatever you label you want to put it, coaches, I was able to work with a really good one when I implemented EOS in a past life. He just had this gift of asking the right difficult questions and really making us reckon with the actual reality of what was going on. And he just led us there through questions to where then we did the learning, we did the reflection, and it sounds like you're almost building that with coaching magic, right?
yes, yes. Again, I'm loving your reflection and your You're witnessing of your own experience. It's just you're doing such good self-coaching, Cam. You're witnessing so much good stuff. There's the questioning, the questions. Um, Sometimes in coaching magic, we call it coaching magic because it appears that it's magical in its effects. And what you're witnessing right now is that, oh my goodness, this coach versus a consultant who has an answer, a coach has a question. Coach has a question. But wrapped around that question is some magic that I'd love to reveal. In coaching magic, we call it 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 doesn't start with because they're all happening at the same time. It's expansion. It's expansion. It's hard to put a one, two, three to it. But wrapping around that question, the question is a tool. A question, in fact, we could say is the coach's greatest tool. We ask a question. We ask a masterfully creative, crafted question. And there are books you can buy like that have 1 million questions in them. And there's websites, and I go to coaching conferences or get coaching of my own where I've been in an exercise where we just write down, here's a question that was powerful. Here's a question. It's just all of this. But here's what I found happens with coaches who just focus on the question. They forget these other things that are floating around in this magic part of the question. The one of these things that you don't see, you could possibly feel it. You could possibly feel it and be very attuned to it. Is coaches our number one skill is listening.
Hmm.
I have coached coaches before who say, Jill, every time I get on the call with a client, I ask them these three questions. Say, how does that turn out? And they're like, I'm not sure. I'm stuck. I don't know why I'm stuck.
Hmm.
Because are we listening?
Hmm.
Are we listening? Listening is the skill. I once was talking to a prospect. I really believe that when I talk to a prospect, I just start coaching, and their only decision is do they want to continue working with me. So I just like that's who I am. I'm bubbly and I'm magic and I'm a coach. I was having a conversation with this guy, and it was getting pretty deep. And I asked him the question, and he tells this story publicly, so I'm just going to use his name. He'll love it. I said, Carrie, are you ready for your company to grow up? That was the question that came through me, but it was from a deep place of listening. Now, it's a funny story because a few months later, Carrie invited me to speak at his conference, and I was up there and he was doing some Q&A, and he says, Jill, you guys listen to this. Jill asks the best question to all of her clients. This is the question she asked. It made me unfold. I saw my life in a different way. And I just saw exactly what I needed to do. Jill, tell him that question you ask everybody. And I'm like, I don't. Right there up on stage, I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. He said, well, you asked me, Carrie, are you ready for your company to grow up? Where did you learn that question? How powerful is that question? Where do you use it? Why do you use it? It's the best question ever. And I got to say to him, like right on stage in front of all of his people, I've never asked anybody that question before.
Hmm.
It was just for you. So, yes, questions, beautiful tool, but without the deep listening, they can come across flat. They can come across not connected. Um, it's a feeling that a human being gets with you as a coach. That this feeling they get is, oh, this human can help me.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if this human can help me. So the listening, Cam, the listening, the deep listening with all of our listening with our eyes, listening, watching the gestures, but not watching in a judgy way. It's almost like a peripheral vision type of watching.
Hmm.
Like when you know that car is coming at you and you better stop, but you didn't look over and go, oh, it's that kind. It's that kind of energy that we calibrate in coaching magic too. Okay, so Cam, the second thing that we wrap around the questioning. So we wrap it around with really, we call it in coaching magic, we call it energetic listening because it comes from all these different places. It's those times when Your mom said, "I have eyes in the back of my head. I know what you're doing over there." And we tune that. We tune up our intuition. Is kind of a funny way to say it. Some intuition. But there's something else that we wrap around the questions too. And I've been witnessing masterfully in you all day, actually. And this is our presence.
Hmm.
And we call this the state. So if the skill is listening, the
Mhm.
tool is questions, and the state is presence.
Hmm.
It's presence. We humans have so much going through our minds. We can sometimes people say, "I can't get my mind to shut up." I don't like that way of thinking about my mind. My mind is beautiful. It's a brilliant, magical tool. Also, it's just that sometimes that's not the tool I want to use for the
Mm.
situation.
Yeah.
So, for a coach to be able to empty themselves of their meltdowns and insecurities and neuroses and demons, that spells mind, by the way, and just loosen up their mind, we can be present
Mhm.
in our hearts, our souls, our energy. And when we are in that state, it's just a very relaxed state. It's a very focused state, but it's feels very free and, and a little loosey goosey. When we can be in that state, we are energetic listening.
Mm.
We like to call it in coaching magic, that's our magic, that's our presence. If you want one equivalent for magic, it's just presence. We are in our presence. And the question comes to us.
Mm.
We're not thinking about it. We're not we're big on preparation, but we're not tied to the question we prepared to ask. We let it flow.
Mm.
And then you, the human or the team that we're coaching you experience that as a question.
Mm.
But that's the magic going on around what you are so in tune with is like, oh my gosh, coaches ask questions. Yes.
Mm.
And they do energetic listening and they create space for themselves and their clients to be present, to be in their magic. But that's the sparkle. That's the sparkle around the question.
That's so eloquently and beautifully put, but then there also is a lot of work that goes into that. I mean, you're probably talking years that it's taken you to come to maybe this
Mhm.
realization. So, I mean, if you don't mind, give us like a little sneak behind the curtain. Like, what does it look like when you work with a coach
Mm.
on a one-on-one basis to get to this point? Because I mean, this is a deep. I mean, you're getting deep inside their who they are as just humans.
Yeah. It it can it can take a long time. I've seen that happen. I've seen some people they really they are on they me included, they are on the long suffering path.
Hmm.
Uh the first time I heard this quote, it was from Dan Sullivan. I don't know if it's his or not, but he says there are two types of suffering: long suffering and short suffering.
Hmm.
Choose. I have a pattern of choosing long suffering. Like, I got to work at this. I got to strive. If I'm not working, if it's not hard, if I'm not sweaty, I'm not making it, I'm not doing it. And what I found in the last maybe 3 or 4 years is that it can be, oh, you can choose that path. You can go down that path of, I gotta, I gotta really buckle down around this presence thing. Or you can invite yourself to it and you can allow it to happen.
Hmm.
Now, some people, my words are going to be saying, "Oh yeah, Jill, well you did take the long path, and now that it feels effortless for you." But uh, it has always been a choice.
Hmm.
If I really look back on it, and the choice was the striving, the discipline, the working towards something, the making my 100 phone calls a day, but, like, all of that, it actually felt really good.
Hmm.
If I really think about it, it felt good. I got a high
Hmm.
from being stressed out and striving and burnt out.
Hmm.
I got some kind of funky high. And when I just decided I don't want that kind of high anymore, then things do become a little more effortless. But all I can tell is my story. And then I can surely share stories of other coaches too where I have seen in a short period of time, so I just want to open this up as a possibility. Does it have to take 10 years? Does it have to take, I think I've done 1,100 and something sessions. Let's say it's 1,111 because that's fun. Let's say it's that many sessions with leadership teams. But does it have to take that? I really do get the hunch, and I have evidence that some of these um, less experienced coaches are unfolding in ways that I only unfolded in 2 years ago.
Hmm.
But they're unfolding in ways that I'm like, oh my gosh, they're choosing short suffering.
Yeah.
They're choosing short suffering. There's one short story I'll tell about this coach who's in Coaching Magic, and she's reporting back to the group. She's like, "Crap, you guys, I didn't do any Coaching Magic this week." And she starts to tell us the story, and all of the other people in Coaching Magic are like, "Check, check, check, check." And they're like, "You did all of them. You did every single one of the 11 elements." And she's like, "Wait, what?" She says, "Oh, wait, I did?" And it's because we're just not noticing. We're moving so fast we don't notice. So again, she named it. The group helps her claim it, and she's like, "Wait, I did do that." So we're doing a lot more than we claim, name, but we can choose the short path if we'd like it.
Oh, that's yes, the short path. Sometimes I feel like I'm one of those people that has to learn the hard way every
I
single time.
Yes, and I was addicted. I loved it. I
Right, and it's funny you say that because the I think there is a certain is it a psychological thing? I don't know what it is, but there is if it doesn't hurt or is painful, it must not be valuable. And so
Yes,
therefore, then you go in and so, like, I empathize with when you
yes,
say that because it's like it's almost glorified that, "Oh, well, obviously it's I'm working hard, so it must be it's like, well, actually, there are
yeah.
probably better ways I could think about this.
Totally. I did a workshop for a group of university students just last week from my alma mater, Weber State University. Woohoo!
There
In
you go.
Ogden, Utah. And I did a workshop for them, and one of the professor running it, he said, "Tell us like your details." And he really wanted me to connect with the students because they are a working student demographic. And so was I. I worked my way full time through school. I went so here you see here I'm shining my badge of suffering. Everybody watch this. I went to school full time. I went to work full time. I work full time running a family business. Hey everybody, I'd get up and go to a class at 7:30, bust out of that class, get to work by 9, go take a class on lunch break, come on back, work, close down the school, go back, take a night class, come back, and guess what? I also had a baby when I was 21 years old, and I did all of that with a baby a oh my gosh, I'm just sweaty just talking about it. And I would tell this badge of honor. And would I go back and do it differently? No, because I am who I am. I
Right.
am who I am. But if I wonder how many seeds of, hey, if you want to be successful, you need to strive really hard. How many of those seeds I've planted too. And I don't know that I'm super happy about that, but I did it and everyone's on their own path. But yes,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a badge of honor. It was a badge of honor.
Mm.
We do.
What
We
Yeah, that's so good. What do you foresee let's kinda we've done a lot of reflection, but let's do a little bit of projection of where we see kind of the coaching industry going here in the future. I mean, obviously AI is the talk of the town right now. And so all of these things, can you kind of share a little bit about what you perceive as the future of coaching going forward into the next, 2, 5, 10 years?
Ooh, I love it. I get to get a magic crystal ball and predict the future. Here's my sense. Here's my sense, and here's my wonderings. Um, the more time I spend with humans, I realize that humans want to spend time with other humans.
Mm,
The more time I only spend with myself, if I spend too much time just with myself, I start this spiral. It's either a spiral up into some kind of something that's not applicable maybe,
Mm,
or this spiral down into, well, this is silly and simple and nobody wants this thing. The more I can be engaged with other humans, we're getting feedback from each other, we're calibrating each other, we're calibrating our emotions. Humans are adaptable. Ugh, love that. And we can do it with a little less of that striving energy when we are together, when we go together. Oh, this is, I mean, just beautiful insight on in EOS on how we have a leadership team. It's a leadership team. It's not a team of humans that
mm,
just come together and do work. It's a team that.
yeah,
So I say all of that to say, I feel, this is great. I feel that the future of coaching is in feeling,
mm,
in emotions. There's a power there that we have not yet tapped with our thinking. And hey, I wrote the book called The Thinking Advantage, okay? So I love thinking and I see the power. In fact, Mark Abbott and I, we like to geek out on like thinking and, and work and how humans work best together. But we've been in this thinking era and I feel us shifting into a feeling era. And it's so weird because for years, um, maybe not the past 5 years, but for years we were like, hey, we'll say it's just an issue. It's just an issue. Let's just solve it. It's like we don't need to get a whole bunch of emotion around it. This is simple. Let's just solve the issue. And I think there's a lot of power and energy in emotions and feelings that we don't even know where our creativity could go if we tapped into that. And I love that AI is starting to do things like automating some work product. Generative AI is kind of fun too. I'll make a video and then I'll say, hey, make a blog out of this. And I cry when I read the blog because it's so good. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that was just my own words back to me.
right.
But I get to feel it
Mm,
instead of, oh, the period goes there and the comma, and oh, should I structure it this way?
yeah,
And it's taking it out of my thinking and into the feeling. So I think the future of coaching is feeling.
yeah. It's
How crazy
deeply
is that?
it's deeply human work. I've always
Yes.
argued that it's a deeply human work because you're bringing an individual or a group of individuals on a team into a setting where they're bringing their issues, their things that they were supposed to bring to the meeting in the session, and that's great, but they're also bringing personal and professional baggage that's
Yes. All of
emotional
us.
that has to
Yes.
be factored into that session.
Yes. And we all bring all of ourselves. So and you know this, when we try to put a mask on of that baggage or how I'm really feeling, it's David Hawkins talks about in his book Letting Go. It's moving through the entrepreneurial world like wildfire. That we do a couple of things with our emotions. We suppress it, we repress it, we express it. Like yeah, I'm so mad at you, or Cam, I love you so much. We express it, or we shoot. I forgot the other one. And so there's another one, but it's or we feel it. We feel it anyway. But we don't. We're not doing that right now. It's not out in the open like it could be, and I think that's the future of coaching is let's just see what's happening here. And it's not really therapy where it's like the deep therapy for 10 years, you know, like oh, I've had this therapist for 10 years. I'm like, is that work for you? Like just where do you want to go with this? I don't know. I don't know that. But this when we look at our feelings and look at our emotions, my friend Sarah Stern is doing some really great work with this right now. She's experimenting with this right now. That it let these emotions actually let go of us. Like it's and then we can okay now what are we going to do with that? So there's some there's some things that are on my mind right now about the future.
Hey, Joe, that's so good. Yeah, we have gone super deep. We've gone high level. Let's talk a little bit more, just concrete, tangible kind of takeaways on offering. We've talked a lot about things, but can you give us just some concrete takeaways on how to build a solid offering as a coach?
Oh my goodness, I would love to. And really, these are for things that I've discovered. I've learned some of these, I've morphed some of these, but I really have four big points for everybody to just keep in mind as you're building an offering. Um, Also, oh gosh, before the 4 points, please remember that coaching is a very creative profession, very creative profession. There's not just one way to do it. And if you think there is only one way to do it, this might be a sprinkling of possibility for you. A really great book for you to read if you're like, what? Coaching is a creative profession. What is this? It's Creator by Steve Chandler. This is required reading, required as it could ever get for people in coaching magic. It just opens up the space of creativity. So, in when you're creating your offering, these are in no specific order. Just keep these four things in mind. You want to have a balance of structure and creativity. If something is too structured of an offering, you flood the bank. You can think of these two things as making the banks of a river. If it's too structured, you flood the bank of structure and it becomes too rigid.
Mm,
Too rigid. Like I mentioned, one of the coaches said, I always ask these three questions. Well, that might be too rigid over there. If you flood the bank of creativity, like there's so much creativity, not enough structure, you flood that bank of creativity and you go into chaos. And then if you can think about this as a river, it doesn't flow. If either of the bank gets if flooded, it's just not flowing. You want to keep a balance of structure and creativity. Think through that with your offering. Those are the offerings that have gone. They have flowed better. They have turned into a flowering flow that I have. The second thing that I'd like you to think about as you're creating your offering is the space from which you are creating. So, if you are a creator, which I believe you are, if this is a creative profession, which I believe it is, what space are you creating from? And I'm just going to I won't go into this one a lot, but if you want to contact me, I'm happy to talk about it more. But are you creating this offering from a space of lack or from a space of abundance? And just a quick example is, are you creating a coaching offering because you think humans out there are lacking something? That that might move for a little while, but what I have discovered is that when I have created things from a place of lack, I feel tense, I feel responsible, and it doesn't flow and eventually dies. When I create from abundance, knowing that the humans I'm serving that I'm creating this for are already whole and complete,
mm.
and all they want to do is expand and explore more, whoo, whoosh, those offerings tend to go really well because that's where I'm creating from. So that's two. Would you like two more?
Oh, please. That those are you set the bar
Well,
high.
well, there you go. You know what? I've learned this, and if I did have to learn the hard way, then now I'm sharing all of these things in abundance. That when I did this from here, there you go. The next one is when I am in the act of creating the offering, and I'm brainstorming, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking about it, and feeling about it, and wondering about it. Quite often, I will take a step back, and I will ask myself, what I'm creating right here, would I attend that offering? Would
Mm,
I buy that offering? Would I want to be in that room where that offering was happening? And if it's not, then I'm probably trying to create something outside of my authenticity.
mm,
I'm trying to create something like, oh, I got to be as cool as Cam is. So Cam did this in his offering. So I got to do what Cam's doing. And it's like, ooh, those fall flat. Sometimes you'll get people to enroll in those, but then they don't come back because you got to love, 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 love what you're doing. And when you love your own offering, ooh, that's where it really flows to. All right, and I have one more.
let's hear it.
And this one has to do with money. Woo woo, because money is everywhere. It's just part of how we operate as a society. So when you're creating your offering and you love it and you're creating from a space of abundance and it has some structure and some creativity in it, I have always found that my offerings are more easily enrolled because you like it to be effortless. Effortless enrollment feels really good. You know you've cracked the nut when someone says, "Yes, I really want to do that." When you are doing your first initial offerings, make the fee so that it is easy for people to say yes. I was working with a coach and she really wanted to create this really, really high fee offering. And yet, she had never experienced her own offering herself. And what she was experiencing is she would say, "This is what I want to do." And then as soon as she would talk about the fee, people were like, "Oh, I don't want to do that." And there was some kind of energy in her that was moving people away because she didn't even believe. So what she did is she lowered her fee almost at cost. She invited people. She felt good about inviting people. And she experienced the power of her own offering. So make it easy for people to do work with you because only when you are in the space of the coaching container will you know that you love this offering.
Oh,
There you
that's
go.
so good.
You gotta make it easy for people to do business with you. So low
Just
fees in the beginning. There you go. Those are my 4 points that I thought
man.
this might be really valuable for your
Oh,
listeners.
yes. It's not a conversation with Jill if you don't go deep, don't go up in the clouds, don't get some takeaways. I mean, it's just it's that's just what you get.
That's
So,
right. That's
wouldn't
right.
expect anything less.
I'm all over the place, and that's just part of my signature.
Bubbly.
There you go. You bubble too.
No. Man, this has been awesome. I appreciate you coming on and sharing. I always like to ask guests 2 questions real quick. First one is, if you could start over with
Mm,
all the knowledge and experiences that you have now, but you could go back and
mm.
share a insight or message to rookie Jill, what would you tell her and why?
Oh my goodness. This is awesome. You know what I wanna do? I wanna do what I literally just got to go back and talk to rookie Jill. They were business students just starting to graduate from Weber State University, and I'm like, "What did I tell them?" Here's what I told them. So I'm just gonna tell you what I told um, learn to really think. Learn to really think, not just follow the rules, but really think about it. Remember, I said I wrote a whole book about thinking. So I said, learn to think. I said, learn to collaborate. Oh, these are such good lessons for myself. Oh, I love it. I told an author that was writing a book the other day, she said, but I should know this. I should know this about her book. And I said, hey, I think we write our books for ourselves first.
Yes.
So, yes, I wrote The Thinking Advantage for myself. So learn how to think. I love that. Learn how to collaborate. And I gave them some fun points on there. What else did I share with them? Oh, this is great. Lessons coming right back at me. Great question, Cam. Learn how to ask for help.
Hmm.
Learn how to ask for help. That's probably a message right back for myself. So I think I'm just going to stick with those because I literally had that experience just last week. And let me see if there's one more coming through.
You feel it in your soul, it
Yeah,
probably
I'm
is.
feeling it right there. I think I would just say, just keep going. Every every experience is for something.
Hmm.
There are no mistakes. Every experience you have between the time you're 19 and right now when you're 50, I just turned 50, is get everything adds up to who you're going to be. Like everything is right. Everything is correct. Even the things you think are mistakes.
Yes, what a good word, and
Hmm.
very applicable. I mean, you just shared it, so that's cool that you had that opportunity. But I was that's just a fun
I
question.
love those. I love those synchronicities. That's
Yeah,
it. That's why I think life is magic.
yes. And then
I
what's
answered that question a week ago.
yeah, no kidding. And we didn't really even talk about much of that. Then the second question, what's a lesson that you're in the middle of learning right now in this current moment? You can be as
Mm,
deep vulnerable as you want, but always like to just hear what you're
I
learning.
love this. I love this. There's a painting I have actually. I'm just gonna show it real quick
Please do.
before, because I thought maybe this would come up. This is the magic is in the middle.
Hmm,
I do my own paintings, and then I have a phrase that will come to me, and I put it here, and I get them printed, and I hand them out to people. So, what I am in the middle of right now is I am unwinding and transforming my relationship with money.
hmm,
And it's so much fun because as soon as I think, "Oh, it's done. It's done. My relationship with money is done." Ta-da! It comes back around, and I feel like humans learn in a spiral effect. So it comes back and it chips away again and it chips away again and it chips away. And so yes, I've done really useful work with my relationship with money, and now it's just chipping away and chipping away. Here's the one that I'm dealing with, playing with. That's the word I choose to. Is how is my relationship with money wrapped up in um, my desire to be generous.
hmm.
So I have always, that's a really strong word because I rarely use the word always, but I think that is true. Wanted and had this pull to be generous with money.
Hmm.
And I have been generous with money, and it's just who I am. It's just part of me. And I am wondering if some part of that generosity with money is holding me back from other ways I can be generous. Because I'm generous with money, maybe I don't need to be generous over here. And uh, it's like a shell or a
Mhm,
barrier or an identity
mhm,
that I have claimed. And I'm seeing there's something that's wanting to dissolve right there. What are other ways to be generous? Generous with my art, generous with my time, generous with my
mhm.
presence. So that is what I am in the middle of right now. That's the magic in the middle, everybody.
That's good. That's helped me even in this moment because 'cause I've been thinking similarly to that. And something that I have a PhD in communication, so I'm all about, communicating and messaging and using words. And then I also have this deep desire to make sure that those around me feel seen, heard, and loved, right? And so when you said that, that helped me connect the dots. It was be generous with your words. Like so many times I've kept my mouth shut because I'm like, well, it's they know. Like, and it's like it helped me draw that line. Be generous with your words. Like, tell them that compliment, write them that Slack message, write them that email, pick up the phone and call. So that's a good tangible takeaway for me, so thank you.
Oh, Kim, and look what you're doing right now. You're interviewing people on a podcast, and your generosity of asking these beautiful questions of me and holding space for my words to come out. You're just this being generous with your words. I just got this whole sense of this is what you're doing. You're delivering this to the world of coaches. I know coaches are your target audience. We're speaking to you, coaches, and how beautiful for your purpose to align with my purpose.
Hmm,
I think coaches are this central, beautiful hub to get love and presence and light and magic out to the whole world. How beautiful it is when two humans sit together
yeah,
that they can feel seen and
yeah,
heard. Oh, Cam,
good,
mm,
good stuff.
that's feeling lovely.
So,
Oh,
tell this, so, obviously, we've had a great conversation, but let's say maybe somebody wants to get in touch with you, maybe they wanna learn about coaching magic or pick your brain on something else or maybe talk EOS. What's the best place to get in touch with you?
if you're feeling that spark of magic, if
Yes.
you're still listening and feeling that spark of magic and you really want to hang out, you really want to have more coaching magic experience, coaching magic, my website is jillyoung.com. So that's easy. I'm also all over LinkedIn. You can direct message me if you'd like. And I have some offerings coming up. Coaching Magic School in the fall is open for enrollment. So if you're feeling that, that's a virtual offering. But and that's for female coaches. I also have a co-ed a co-ed product offering live happening at the end of September,
Cool.
and that's for men and women coaches. So, yeah, if you are feeling like you would like to invite yourself to Coaching Magic, just reach out and we will get you all the deets.
Oh,
It would be fun to have you because it's the most fun and impactful and unfolding and spiraling up and sometimes spiraling out, and we come back together, and it's just a very magical time.
well, I think we can take, your sentiment on, hey, the future of coaching and the, importance of feeling and that human-centered approach in the rise of digital technologies and AI. Can't, recommend that program any higher because I know the individual leading it, so, I think it would be well worth people's investment, if you wanna call it that, to level up and just be more bubbly. We need more bubbly people in the world.
Why not? More bubbly. If you're feeling like some bubbly is on your path, come on over.
I
Come on
love
over.
it.
Oh, look, ready? Bubbly. I'm also drinking bubbly.
I mean, if so
I have never noticed that until this moment.
come on now. That
No,
is,
this is what I stock in my session room is this.
they need to endorse you is what needs to happen.
Of course.
Well, Jill, thank you so much for coming on and having this conversation. I just enjoyed it as a human, and obviously, it's very beneficial for coaches and consultants and advisors, no matter who they are. And even if an entrepreneur sneaks in here, I think they'll find a lot of value in it. So, thank you for taking the time to come on. Been
Thank you for
awesome.
having me. Thank you for creating this space for coaches to geek out on what other coaches are doing. We love support. We need support. Good coaches need really good coaches. So this is a great space for us to find each other too. Thank you.
Love it. Hey, take care, everybody. Bye. That's it for today's episode of the Ambitious Coach Podcast. My hope is that something here helps you sharpen your craft and keep building a coaching practice you're proud of. Before we wrap, a quick thank you to our sponsor, 90. If you're coaching leadership teams, having your clients run their entire world in 90 truly elevates your work. Vision, rocks, scorecards, issues, it all lives in one centralized place. The clarity keeps your clients aligned between sessions and makes every conversation you have with them more focused and more impactful. I've used 90 with over 500 leadership teams, and I can tell you it makes great companies better and great coaches even more effective. Feel free to use promo code AC20 for 20% off. Again, that's AC20 for 20% off. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'm Cam, cheering you on as you grow your ambitious coaching practice. We'll see you next time.